Your attention span is dying, and you're killing it. Every scroll, every notification, every tab you open, you're training your brain to never focus again. The average human attention span has dropped to 8 seconds. That's less than a goldfish. But here's what nobody tells you. This isn't a personal failure. This is a war for your attention, and you're losing. The most brilliant engineers in Silicon Valley have spent billions of dollars figuring out exactly how to hijack your brain. They know your weaknesses. And here's the darkest part. Steve Jobs wouldn't let his kids use an iPad. Mark Zuckerberg limits his children's screen time. The people who built these technologies know exactly what they do to the human mind. They just don't care that they're doing it to you. Today, we're going to dissect the neuroscience of attention, understand why your brain is being rewired against your will, and most importantly, discover how to take it back. Because your ability to focus deeply is the single most valuable skill in the modern world, and it's being stolen from you. Brain hijacked. Let's start with an uncomfortable truth. Your brain didn't evolve for the modern world. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors survived by paying attention to immediate threats, the rustle in the bushes, the sudden movement in peripheral vision. This was adaptive. It kept us alive. But now that same mechanism is being exploited. Every notification, every red badge on an app, every autoplay video, they're all designed to trigger your brain's novelty-seeking circuitry. The technology is designed to be addictive because that's what sells. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with reward and motivation, spikes every time you receive something new and unexpected. Your phone has become a slot machine in your pocket. And just like a slot machine, the reward is unpredictable, which makes it even more addictive. The average person checks their phone 96 times a day. That's once every 10 minutes. Each time you do, you're reinforcing a neural pathway that says, interrupt yourself. Seek novelty. Don't stay focused. Your brain is being reprogrammed without your consent. But this is just the beginning of what's happening inside your skull. Books to screens. There's a profound shift that happened over the last century that nobody talks about. We went from a culture of readers to a culture of viewers to a culture of scrollers. And each transition fundamentally changed how our brains process information. When you read a book, something remarkable happens. You follow a single chain of thought for hours. Your brain builds complex mental models. You hold multiple ideas in working memory simultaneously. Deep reading creates deep thinking. Television changed this. Suddenly, information came at you in short segments with commercial breaks. You didn't have to hold anything in memory, the screen held it for you. But the internet made television look like meditation. Now information is disposable. If you're bored for even 1 second, you scroll. Another video, another article, another distraction. Scroll, consume, forget, repeat. Neil Postman warned us about this in 1985. He wrote that we are amusing ourselves to death, that the medium of television was changing not just what we think about, but our very capacity to think. He couldn't have imagined what the smartphone would do. Now that you understand the historical shift, let me show you what's actually happening in your neurons. Neuroplasticity. Here's the terrifying and liberating truth about your brain. It's plastic. Every experience you have physically reshapes the neural connections in your skull. This is called neuroplasticity, and it works in both directions. When you practice focusing deeply, reading, writing, solving complex problems, you strengthen the neural circuits responsible for sustained attention. Your prefrontal cortex becomes more efficient at filtering distractions. Your ability to hold information in working memory improves. But when you spend hours switching between apps, scrolling feeds, and seeking constant stimulation, you're training a completely different set of circuits. Atrophy, the pathways for deep focus, literally weaken from disuse. Studies using fMRI scans have shown that heavy internet users have reduced gray matter in areas associated with cognitive control. The brain is like a muscle. Use it or lose it. If this is resonating with you right now, hit like and subscribe to keep exploring the depths of your psyche with me. Because understanding is only the first step. Every hour you spend in fragmented attention mode is an hour you're investing in becoming more distractible. But here's the hope. The same plasticity that's hurting you can heal you. The question is whether you're willing to do what it takes. Attention economy. Let me tell you about the most valuable commodity in the modern world. It's not oil. It's not data. It's your attention. And there's an entire economy built around extracting it from you. In 2023, the global digital advertising market was worth over $600 billion. Every single dollar of that was earned by capturing and selling your attention. Think about that. Your eyeballs are the product. Companies don't just want you to use their apps, they want you addicted. They hire neuroscientists and behavioral psychologists specifically to make their products more compelling. They run thousands of A/B tests to find the exact shade of red that makes you click, the exact timing of notifications that keeps you hooked. You are the product. Former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris calls it the race to the bottom of the brainstem. These companies are competing to trigger your most primitive impulses, fear, outrage, social validation, because those emotions drive engagement. And engagement is money. Your distraction is their revenue model. The cards are stacked against you. But knowing you're in a rigged game is the first step to changing how you play it. Deep work death. Cal Newport, a computer science professor at Georgetown, has spent years studying what he calls deep work, the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. He argues that this ability is becoming increasingly rare at the exact moment it's becoming increasingly valuable. Think about it. In an age where artificial intelligence can handle routine tasks, the humans who thrive will be those who can think deeply, creatively, and originally. Deep work is the superpower of the 21st century, but most people can't do it anymore. Studies show that the average knowledge worker is interrupted every 3 minutes. And here's the truly devastating part. After an interruption, it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully return to the original task. Most people never get those 23 minutes. 1. Check email, lose 23 minutes. 2. Slack notification, lose 23 minutes. 3. Quick social scroll, lose 23 minutes. 4. Text message, lose 23 minutes. You do the math. How many hours of deep work do you actually achieve in a day? For most people, the answer is close to 0. A fragmented attention span is a broken attention span. Your career, your creativity, your capacity for meaningful thought, all of it depends on your ability to focus. And that ability is being systematically destroyed. Digital detox myth. You've probably heard the advice. Just do a digital detox. Go offline for a weekend. Delete your social media apps. And while this can provide temporary relief, it fundamentally misunderstands the problem. The issue isn't just that you use technology too much. The issue is that years of fragmented attention have physically changed your brain structure. Detox doesn't fix damage. A weekend without your phone doesn't rebuild neural pathways that took years to erode. It's like thinking you can fix years of a sedentary lifestyle with one trip to the gym. Dr. Gloria Mark, who has studied attention for decades, found something fascinating. When people were cut off from email for 5 days, their heart rate variability improved, a sign of reduced stress. But their attention span didn't magically restore itself. Recovery takes as long as the damage took. This isn't about willpower. This isn't about putting your phone in another room. This is about understanding that your attention is a skill, one you've been detraining for years. And rebuilding that skill requires something far more intentional than simply going offline. The real solution demands that you understand what you're actually fighting against. Creators knew. In 2010, a journalist asked Steve Jobs what his kids thought of the iPad. Jobs replied with something shocking. They haven't used it. We limit how much technology our kids use at home. Let that sink in. The man who created the iPad wouldn't let his own children use it. This isn't an isolated case. Bill Gates didn't give his kids smartphones until they were 14. He banned them from Apple products entirely. Chris Anderson, former editor of Wired magazine, implemented strict screen time limits because, in his words, he'd seen the dangers of technology firsthand. They knew. The people who built these technologies understand exactly what they do to developing brains, and adult brains too. They understand the addiction mechanisms they engineered. They understand the attention destruction they profit from. Rules for us, none for them. And yet they sell these products to your children. They market them as essential. They make you feel like a bad parent if you don't give your kid an iPad. The cognitive elite protect their own minds while profiting from the destruction of yours. But you're not helpless. Not if you understand what you're dealing with. Attention training. Now let's talk about what actually works. If your attention is a muscle that's been weakened, the solution is deliberate training. Not hoping. Not apps that block other apps. Actual focus practice. Neuroscientists have identified several evidence-based approaches. First, meditation. Just 10 minutes of focused attention meditation daily has been shown to increase gray matter density in the prefrontal cortex within 8 weeks. Meditation is weight training for your attention. Second, single tasking. Choose one task. Set a timer for 25 minutes. Do nothing else. When your mind wanders, and it will gently return to the task. Each time you do this, you're strengthening the neural pathways for sustained focus. Third, friction. Make distraction harder. 1. Phone in another room. 2. Website blockers installed. 3. Notifications completely off. 4. Email check twice daily only. We shape our tools, and thereafter our tools shape us. Fourth, reading. Actual books. Long-form content that requires sustained attention. Start with 20 minutes. Build up. Your brain will resist at first. It's been trained to expect constant novelty, but persistence rewires it back. The question isn't whether you can fix your attention. You can. The question is whether you want it badly enough to do the work. Boredom's gift. Here's something counterintuitive. Boredom might be the most important mental state you've been running from. When you're bored, your brain enters what neuroscientists call the default mode network. This is when your mind wanders freely, makes unexpected connections, processes experiences, and generates creative insights. Every great thinker in history spent enormous amounts of time in this state. Darwin took long daily walks with nothing to entertain him. Einstein famously said his best ideas came during idle moments. Newton developed calculus during forced isolation from plague. But we've made boredom impossible. Every moment of waiting, every quiet instant, every potential gap in stimulation, we fill it with our phones. Boredom breeds brilliance. Studies show that participants who were allowed to be bored before a creativity test significantly outperformed those who were entertained. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. Your fear of boredom is costing you your creativity, your self-reflection, your ability to process your own life. The discomfort you feel when unstimulated isn't a problem to solve. It's a capacity to rebuild. What you discover when you stop running from your own mind might surprise you. Reclaiming focus. Let me leave you with something important. This isn't about going back to some idealized past before technology. It's about conscious choice in the present. The tools exist. You can use them, but you should use them deliberately, not compulsively. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your attention. Every moment you spend in fragmented distraction is a moment you're not fully present in your own life. You're not deeply engaged with your work. You're not truly connecting with the people you love. You're skimming the surface of existence instead of diving deep. The war for your attention is real, but you don't have to lose it. Start small. 10 minutes of focused reading, 5 minutes of meditation, 1 hour of your phone in another room. These aren't just productivity hacks. They're acts of rebellion against a system designed to exploit you. Your attention is your life. Spend it wisely. The brain that built civilization, that created art and science and philosophy, that brain lives inside your skull. But it needs you to protect it. The engineers in Silicon Valley won't. The algorithms certainly won't. Only you can choose to reclaim what's rightfully yours. Your attention span isn't broken by accident. It's broken by design. Billions of dollars, thousands of engineers, and decades of behavioral research have gone into figuring out exactly how to fragment your focus and keep you scrolling. But now you know. You understand the neuroscience. You see the game being played. You recognize that your capacity for deep thought is both incredibly valuable and systematically under attack. The same neuroplasticity that allowed your attention to be eroded can rebuild it, but only if you choose. Only if you're willing to embrace boredom, to practice focus like the skill it is, to create friction between yourself and the infinite scroll. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Your why is this: the ability to focus deeply is the ability to live deeply, to think original thoughts, to create meaningful work, to truly be present with the people you love. This isn't about productivity, it's about reclaiming your mind. If you made it this far, common attention reclaimed to prove you're one of the few who can still focus. Welcome to the Psyche Project. If this opened your eyes, hit subscribe. Your attention is worth fighting for.